Hey everybody, it's JD. Just want to give you a quick heads up. We start the show today with some spoiler-free thoughts about Longlegs. We're going to get into more detailed and spoilery thoughts about that one at some later date in the future when more people have had a chance to see it. But that's where we start the episode. If you want to miss even those spoiler-free thoughts, you're going to want to jump ahead to about the 16-minute mark, and that's where Arcadian starts. Enjoy the episode.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and hopefully, unlike our last episode that came out, I really hope that most of our listeners do not turn it off as soon as they hear my voice. Let's see if it happens to my co-host instead, who's here with me.
It's Michelle. Oh no, wait, it's JD. I was gonna
JD.
make sure you got the blame if
Yeah.
No, Michelle, that's just the way YouTube works. You know, people like they bring up a video for like 3 seconds and then they're like, no, I don't even know. They're weird. It's not
I
because
went
of
back to the
you.
timestamp. It is specifically 2 seconds after I start talking. I think I had a lot of energy in our what
Michelle, it's
became I
just an
Am Legend
average.
episode. They couldn't. No, I think it's my fault. I'm so sorry to everyone
It's
for having an opinion. I
it's
know that
just
I
an
should not
average,
do that.
Michelle. It's just an
Well,
average.
I'm gonna treat it like it's the mean because my feelings are hurt, and
Yeah,
that means
that's
it's
what
the
an
mean.
average is, the
Anyway.
mean.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Whatever.
like it's a
Hello,
median or
everybody.
anything.
Uh, Welcome to the therapy portion of We Watch Shudder. My name's Michelle. I'm not in therapy anymore. She told me that I graduated, and I kind of think I might have to re-enroll. But we usually watch Shudder, and today we did watch Shudder. Actually, on Friday we watched Shudder, but due to scheduling conflicts, this movie review is coming out a little bit later than expected. But you know what? Late is better than never. I don't better I There's a phrase. Better late than never? Yes. There
Michelle,
we go.
yes, better late than
Words.
never. Michelle's being very kind. What really happened is JD was a dummy and decided to schedule himself way too tightly on a day where keeping that tight of a schedule was just not going to happen. And then I worked for 2 days, 16 hours each day, and we obviously am not
Yeah.
going to record in that. Anyway, it doesn't matter, guys. Nobody's paying for this. There's no sponsors. There's no advertisers. We're just
We're
here
actively
doing our
losing
own.
money.
We're doing, yeah, well, Michelle is actively losing
I
money.
did a budget spreadsheet. We are hemorrhaging funds. This is not a good business decision. This is a hobby.
hemorrhaging,
It's it's
hemorrhaging.
it's a good
This
hobby.
is a good. Anyway, what are we talking
This is
about
my
today,
creative
Michelle?
outlet that keeps me from sinking into a deep, deep
Yeah,
depression. Oh, you thought we were past the therapy portion? Just kidding. Anyway,
it's
what
always the
movie are we
therapy portion.
discussing today, Jeremiah?
Wait. Why did you just do that? Have we
I don't know.
ever told anybody my actual full name? It's Jeremiah Daniel. I'm not trying to hide it or anything. I just
I was gonna say,
hear
I'm like, I didn't think it was a secret.
No, I hear
I
it.
just
I just
remembered
hear it so
that's your
rarely
name.
that it kind of startles me now when I actually hear
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the jump scare.
My
This is a horror
mom,
podcast, and we all know
my
that we hate jump
mom
scares.
barely calls me Jeremiah anymore, and that's
And she
super
picked out
weird.
the name.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
Okay,
Well,
so here's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a new Shudder exclusive, the primary focus of our episode, a new Shudder exclusive called Arcadian, starring Nicolas Cage, directed and I believe also written by Ben Brewer. No, it looks like he just directed it, but yeah, Arcadian, sort of post-apocalyptic thing. It's a Nicolas Cage movie. That's really, I think, all anybody needs to know about it to decide whether or not they want to see it. But before we get to talking about Arcadian, we do want to take a moment to sort of strike while the iron is hot We're going to wait and talk about it more in depth at a later time, but we wanted to take a moment to talk about a movie that's all the rage right now and also happens to star Nicolas Cage. What is that movie called, Michelle?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Con Air. Face Off. No, it is. Oh my God! Now I just blanked on
It's
the
called
Longlegs. Dear
Longlegs.
God, I said so many Nick Cage movies that it was gone. It
That's
was totally
awesome.
gone. Longlegs.
Yeah.
Longlegs. We went to see it.
Yeah,
We both have very strong feelings about it.
yeah, look, I'm going to be honest with you. My feelings have tempered a little bit. But there's still, I mean, there's still significant. Guys, we're not going to do like a full, breakdown and spoilery,
Of
detaily
course not.
portion. This is still theatrical. A lot of people are not going to have a chance to see it for a while yet. But, again, I mean, I'm nothing if not a shameless opportunist, and people are talking about it right now, so we're going to talk about it right now so we can hop on that hashtag and see if it gets us somewhere.
Hop
That's
on that hashtag.
that's a hop on that hashtag. Is that a thing people say? If not, they should.
It is now.
So yeah, obviously Longlegs, all the rage. Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage, written and directed by Oz Perkins, son of Anthony Perkins, writer director of The Black Coat's Daughter, and I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. Let's just let's just pull a Band-Aid off, Michelle. You liked this movie. I wasn't a big fan. You want to
I
talk?
love
You,
this movie.
you want to talk about it a little while first from that side of things?
Yeah. Okay, so keep it spoiler free. I I want to love Micah Monroe. I always want to love Micah
Is it?
Monroe.
I just
Oh no,
uh,
he's already.
no.
Yes.
Is it Micah or Micah?
Oh, I always assume Micah, but I guess I've never heard it pronunciated.
I haven't either. We'll have to find out. I tell you what.
Ms.
You
Monroe.
you keep talking. I'll do some behind the scenes research.
Sweet. Okay, so the lead actress, whose last name is Monroe, I've seen her in so many things, and I always want to like her, but I never connect with her character. I enjoyed It Follows. I didn't love her character. We went over Watcher, and it was the first time that JD and I argued on the podcast, and I realized that I gotta bring my A game next time. I was not prepared. I did not have evidence. I was shaking during that episode because I can't handle conflict, and now whatever, we'll fight, we'll duke it out. This movie made me reconsider how I feel about her so much that I want to go back and watch other films I haven't enjoyed and see if I now like those performances a little bit more, because she was just so good in this movie that it proved to me that yes, she is a good actress. Obviously she keeps getting cast and stuff, but it was just very difficult for me to understand that because I did not really enjoy her in other things, but she did such a good job that I'm like, there we go. There's the evidence I need that I'm wrong. Perfect. So I kind of want to go back and watch other things. Nick Cage, transformative, icon, beautiful angel. I would say Nick Cage can do no wrong, but he absolutely can. In this
There's
case, he
my
did not.
angel.
He is wonderful. This is not so much horror adjacent. It is a great thriller. I loved trying to figure out what was going on as we followed the character trying to figure out what was going on. This is definitely so far top 5 of 2024 and going to be hard to knock off the list.
All right.
Long
So
legs.
that's Michelle's reaction to Longlegs. My initial reaction to the film was very aggressively negative. For
Because I'm passionate.
yeah, for reasons that I have since reckoned with. What I have learned in no uncertain terms whatsoever is I have to just recommit myself to not giving a shit about any kind of marketing, any kind of promotion, because I got way too invested in a lot of the marketing stuff that they were doing with this film, There's a website called thebirthdaymurders.net and this other stuff. They were doing all these random, like they were like putting ads in random newspapers that had cipher images and stuff on them, and this whole thing. And I just, what happened is I developed expectations, and I went in thinking this was going to be one kind of film, and I was very excited for the ideas that I thought they were running with, and it's not that film at all. And so because of that initially, I was really sort of disappointed. Now, I have also thought about it long enough, and I do still think that even if I hadn't gone in with those expectations, I really enjoyed the first 2/3 of this movie, and then there's a thing that happens, as there always is. There's that, third act shift in a well-written story, and this story makes choices in the third act and tells its story in a way that didn't work for me. It felt like a lot of stuff was just happening very suddenly. This is the way I would put it. It felt like a lot of stuff was just being explained and not discovered. Is I think the way that I would explain it. It's certainly a beautifully made film. Everybody involved, you're right, phenomenal performances. I just went in with way too much expectation, which is frankly entirely on me for letting myself get drawn into that stuff. I know better. But also, yeah, there are third act issues that just made this a story that didn't work for me. I thought I was gonna get one kind of story, and I got a completely different kind of story entirely. We'll talk about it more in depth at some point down the road. I don't know if it's going to stream on Shudder or end up somewhere else. Hard to say. But I think Neon's been doing a lot of stuff with Hulu, so maybe it'll show up there. But I think we'll probably do maybe like a full breakdown episode when it does become available on streaming, you think?
Absolutely. I am watching it a second time this week.
Yeah.
And I will be watching it when it hits streaming. And I have to take
I do
notes.
want to caveat that I do need to see the movie again, because there are certain things that I have problems with that I feel were not explained, but I'm also not sure if maybe I just missed some things. So I do want to give it the respect of at least making sure it actually didn't do what I wanted it to do, or if I just missed it. But I strongly do, obviously, as always, encourage you, if it's playing in a theater near you, buy a ticket and go see it. Make up your own mind. Support awesome horror movies getting an opportunity in the theaters. Neon has had 3 titles that are going theatrical this year, with Immaculate and Longlegs and coming up Cuckoo, which they had a trailer for on this, and I'm fucking stoked for. And that means I have to stop reading about it. I have to never see another frame of footage. I have to stop right
doing that
now.
to yourself, because that's why you disliked Late Night with the Devil, and then you wound up loving Late Night with the Devil. I've
been poisoned by hype lately.
Every movie. No, go into every movie assuming it's not going to scare you, and that is definitely going to disappoint you. I have seen so many movies that at this point I'm like, chances of me liking this are slim. And now, like, it's very rarely actually the case, but I go in with such a pessimistic attitude that if a movie is even halfway decent, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God for this.
I did really well.
In assuming it'll suck.
I did really well with it for the longest time. Just being completely detached, and frankly, just in the last couple of years, and I'm not saying it's the podcast's fault. I'm just saying it's definitely related to the podcast. I'm following a lot more news again. I'm getting caught up in like, oh, here's a little snippet of footage. Let's go see what this is all about.
No, you never watched the footage.
Michelle and I, of course, we've seen the original Danish, I believe, Speak No Evil. They played...
Yes. Hollands? Is
Maybe
that
yeah, maybe
Dutch?
maybe
Yeah.
Dutch. I don't remember. One of them European D's.
Mm.
Anyway, it they played the trailer for the American remake of it, and guys, if you haven't seen the movie, do everything you can to not see that trailer. It gives away almost fucking everything. Like I sat there and was just
Yep.
gobsmacked by that trailer, having again seen the original and knowing what this movie's beats are and what it. I was frankly shocked that anybody let that trailer go to screen. Avoid it at all costs. Public service announcement.
I I could spend a long time just ranting about trailers because at this point, instead of getting you hyped for a movie, it seems like they're just telling you what the story is end to end in so many of them, and then being like, you want to go see this story told out over the course of 2 hours, 45 minutes?
No.
You can. This is just the 1 minute version of it, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
that's enough
should we
about that.
get to
We have a
Arcadian?
feature
Yeah,
presentation to get to.
we do.
And that is Arcadian. Michelle, I know you had mentioned that this is one specifically that you had been on your radar. Is it one that you were just aware of, or one that you were specifically looking forward to a great deal?
I am unironically a huge Nicolas
Yeah, and
Cage
that's why I
fan.
asked. I figured you were
So,
probably stoked.
yeah, it's just any movie, and it's not even so much I'm hyped to see it if like the movie itself. Well, it's not that I'm thinking like this is a movie with him, so it's going to be
You
very
want to
good.
see
It's,
what the
oh, there's
man
a
is
new
gonna
movie that
do.
I have to
Yeah, he
see.
is.
Exactly, because there's some stuff that I don't like, but I like that he always goes all out
Yes.
in his roles, and I want to
Yeah,
see
he
it.
is a
So that
compelling
was the case with this
performer
one.
for sure.
Yeah, I did not know anything about the actual movie. I just knew he was in it, so I would have to see it.
Yeah,
Though that was my only knowledge.
I didn't know this movie existed until the schedule dropped, telling us what the Shutter releases were for this month. It was. I think I may have heard the name in passing somewhere along the line, but I mostly was completely unaware of this. So I went in pretty blind as well. You want to read the IMDb summary for this movie, or should I do it?
I can read it.
Okay,
I've got up already.
do it.
A father and his twin teenage sons fight to survive in a remote farmhouse at the end of the world. Arcadian 2024, rated R, hour and 32 minutes. Thank you so much for keeping
Boom.
it at a normal movie length.
92. You dropped
They
like
get a point
four
just for
minutes of
that.
credits out of
How,
there. That's an 88-minute movie. That's exactly how it should be.
ugh.
Get in there,
And if you
make
drop
your point.
5 minutes, it's an 87-minute
Yeah.
movie. And if you drop 6 minutes, it would be an 86-minute movie.
Are you done with your
Are we
math
just
lesson,
counting? I thought
Michelle?
we were just.
No.
You can count on me to
Oh
take
my
things
God.
literally.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry.
Anyway, Arcadian.
I was too busy summing up the movie to
uh,
I don't mean to divide all of our attention. You may proceed.
uh,
It would be a plus if we could move forward.
as someone then who was looking forward to this as a perhaps more specifically just as a Nicolas Cage vehicle, Michelle, please share with us your spoiler-free thoughts.
I would usually say I would love to, but I don't in this case because this is one that it's fine. I don't have a lot of feelings towards it. I am very middle. I think it got a lot of buzz before it came out. And I think anybody who said that they absolutely loved this movie, I would go, okay, and not have anything to argue with them about. I think it is just too much of a slow burn for me, and that without getting into too many details, it's something that I think I've seen before, kind of. It wasn't for me. This is standard. It wasn't for me. Not bad. I just didn't care too much. Nobody did a bad job in this at all. I don't think like if somebody said they liked it that they would be wrong. It just did not connect with me. I'm just gonna go right down the middle because again, this is always a rating based on our enjoyment, not a judgment of the quality of a film, because then everything would probably get a 5 from me because I'm too nice. Just how I felt about it. I watched it twice because we're gonna record on Friday. I had to rehash it again today, and I'm just going middle of the road, 2.5
2.5 on
out of
Arcadian
5.
from Michelle.
Yeah,
Would you like to know my spoiler-free
JD,
thoughts?
I absolutely would.
Okay, so interestingly enough, in different ways, but sort of the same situation as I experienced with Longlegs. I really got into the first half or so of this, and then I won't tell you the details, obviously, until we get into the spoilers section. But as it becomes more of the kind of movie that it is, and we start to get those other elements that come in, the more threatening situations, that sort of thing. It kind of lost me as more and more of that went on. As somebody who very rarely is into just like really sort of mellow character pieces, I really loved Nicolas Cage and the two other actors, Jaden Martell and I'm sorry, who was the other son?
Maxwell
Maxwell
Jenkins.
Jenkins. The chemistry between the three of them is some of the most incredibly naturalistic, like parent and child interaction I think I've ever seen in film. And I was really into that, and a lot of the ideas being developed here. And then it just, I think, became married to its concept a little bit too much, and again went a direction that I would have liked to have seen it go somewhere else. I think I like this one probably a little bit more than you did. I was gonna go with Three Skulls on this.
Three skulls. Okay, so 3 and 2.5. That gives an average or a mean of 2.75 out of 5 human
What's the
skulls.
median though, Michelle?
Oh
It's
God,
also
I would have to go look at my
2.75
notes
because it's
about.
halfway between. There's
Is
only
it
two numbers in the set,
okay?
so yeah.
That's
What would the
true.
mode be?
And then there's a
There is
mode
no.
and a min
Yeah,
and a max. All
there
the
is no
M's.
mode, or at least it's a split mode because there's only two entries and there's one occurrence of each entry, so there's no
Well,
maximum value.
I'm I'm so disappointed that there is no mode because I could go for some a la
Oh
mode.
Jesus.
Man, I want some
Okay,
pie
so
with some ice
if
cream
you
on
don't
it.
want to have Arcadian spoiled for you, now is the time. If you don't want Michelle to talk about ice cream anymore, I really don't know what we're gonna do and how we're gonna make that
I made
happen.
myself so
I,
hungry.
I'm now I'm
I want
I don't
ice
even want
cream.
to finish this episode now. Should we just say goodnight and go get ice cream? Okay.
No, no, we gotta finish
Anyway,
it.
yeah,
We gotta
this is where
finish
things
it.
get
We
spoilery from
started.
now on about Arcadian. So that's your last warning, Michelle. It is
Yeah.
time.
Oh no.
Tell Jenna what happens in this
To
movie, because you
duel.
know she didn't watch it. Hi, Jenna.
Yes. Hi, Jenna, who never watches the
Except who
movie.
watched
Jenna.
Longlegs.
Quick side
Like,
note. I was about to say, quick side note, JD was kind of ranting about Longlegs a lot after we saw it. And at one point, Jenna and I were hanging out when we were getting messages, and we're just like, man, JD did not like the movie.
I got a little carried
And
away.
that was just very funny. Just being like, oh man, he did not enjoy
Michelle
it.
puts up with a lot
Okay, so
behind the
anyway,
scenes sometimes, you guys.
he's got some
I,
feelings. He
I
has some
I
big
cut loose every
feelings.
now and then, and that's why I appreciate her.
It's fine. I think it's very funny, so I don't mind. Okay, so Cadian, it's a movie. Nick Cage, he's in the apocalypse, and he's in the apocalypse with two sons. Oh man, he is a boy dad. As though being a single parent wasn't hard enough, here he is trying to keep his boys on lockdown in a farmhouse so that they can live out their days. You thought puberty was rough in 2024. You ain't seen nothing yet. The one boy, he's got the puberties going on, and so he's got a little crush on his friend Charlotte. And Joseph, he likes chess. I think he was the one who liked chess. And Nick Cage, wow, he does not scream bloody murder about anything in this movie, and that's kind of a disappointment. So they're a family. They're their own little family. And one day Thomas is coming home from his girlfriend's place and he falls in a hole. And I laughed very hard because I thought they had just killed him off out of nowhere. And I kind of wish that had happened because it did make me laugh a whole lot. If they had just been like, Thomas is gone now. But Paul, that's Nick Cage, he goes to find his son Thomas and he leaves Joseph alone. And Joseph's like, wow, I guess this is how I find out that I'm not the favorite son because now I'm here in danger while my father goes to find Thomas. And then Joseph's sitting there, and there's a long, long arm that comes in and tries to touch Joseph on his face, and he's like, "Hell no!" And he traps that thing. So he's got a creature, and then I might have these out of order. I don't care. Then Paul, he gets hurt at some point. I don't remember how. But he gets fucked up in the hole. Probably. You can't trust holes. That's a thing I learned after watching that Shia LaBeouf film. Don't trust holes. They are full of venomous lizards that can only be thwarted by fermented
Spoilers,
onions.
Michelle.
Great book and movie. Oh my God. It is such an old movie and book. Anyway.
I know at least one person who hasn't seen it, Michelle. His name is me, Michelle.
Are you gonna?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Are you gonna?
Somebody's going to yell at me for interrupting
I'm just telling you not to trust holes. I'm giving you
I
a
don't
plot
trust
that
holes,
happens
and I didn't need a Shia LaBeouf movie to teach me that.
Oh, I trusted a hole once. I'm gonna miss her.
What just happened?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Nick Cage, he sacrifices himself. And now there's 2 boys and a girl, and they're going to go off and find some other survivors. And now we've got a new reality TV show called 2 Boys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. And it's a post-apocalyptic rom-com TV
2 guys,
show
a girl, and
Fox,
a post-apocalypse.
Yeah, that's about it. I wish I cared more about this. The end. Nick Cage died. I needed him to scream bloody murder
himself
while he did
up
it.
for his
and
baby
said he was
boys.
just heroic and stoic. I wouldn't do it, but I guess, I'm not Nick Cage. Hey, King, if I had a choice between me and 2 teenage sons, specifically my sons, not somebody else's, I feel like if they were somebody else's sons, I would be more likely to save them. If they were my own, I'd be like, we cannot let this gene pool continue.
Michelle,
it ends with us.
You definitely need to go back to therapy. Holy Christ.
Just because I would kill my offspring? Is that a problem? That's why I don't have offspring.
Hey, that's fair. People should be applauding your responsibility. You know yourself well enough to know you should not have kids.
I'm very responsible. Yeah, I like my friends' kids. I would make like a hamster and eat my own baby if I had one. Just to spare it from the dangers of the world.
So let me ask you a couple of questions about this movie, Michelle, because honestly, I'm not sure even how much I'm going to have to say about it, because the biggest thing about it that I liked was just the performances especially of the father and the 2 sons. I thought the way they interacted, there's that sequence where Nicolas Cage is teaching Jaden Martell how to drive, and the other son, and I'm sorry, I already forgot his name.
Thomas and
Maxwell Jenkins.
No, Maxwell is the Joseph.
Joseph was Jaden Martell. Thomas was Maxwell Jenkins. I was looking for Maxwell Jenkins. I forgot the actor's name. Anyway,
they have reversed initials. Jaden Martell, Maxwell Jenkins.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Does that mean something?
No. Anyway.
Quick, Illuminati.
But anyway, like that scene is specifically where it really was driven home to me. I really liked just the chemistry between the 3 of them. It was some of the most believable father-son interaction I've ever seen in a movie. Let me ask you this though: are these supposed to be his actual sons, or are these just some abandoned babies he found in the apocalypse? Because I didn't quite, because he's like running through the apocalypse at the beginning, and then all of a sudden there's a couple of babies, and I didn't like. Did he pull those babies like out of his coat pockets or something? Did he have like big baby pockets,
Here,
or did he find
here
the
are my
babies?
thoughts. What I feel pretty confident about is that when we see the babies at the beginning, that's not his first encounter with them. It is either his biological children or children he found, and he had to go scavenge and then go find the
Oh,
babies
so you think he had the
afterwards.
babies stashed there? He wasn't just at that point
Yes,
discovering them. I gotcha. That would
exactly.
make perfect sense.
Because I also don't know, but actually that's kind of something I like about this movie is that they never
Because it
like
doesn't
flat
matter.
out say Paul's not like you came from my
Right.
balls. He doesn't scream it at them because family is what you make
Yeah.
it. And I like that it's kind of
Yeah.
ambiguous. That was actually a little point I had that I watched it, or I watched for that when I rewatched this to see like were those his biological children? And then I realized, oh, they were there because trying to scavenge in this hellscape while holding two twin babies is impossible. So I think that that scene,
Okay.
he knew these babies.
Yeah.
That wasn't his first time finding these children and being like, I guess these are mine
I
now.
gotcha. That makes sense. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I like that this is a very small movie, right? For being post apocalyptic, and that's honestly why where this movie started to lose me a little bit. And I'm like you, I don't think it was bad. It just it sort of is the more the creatures showed up and the more they interacted with the
Yeah.
creatures, the more it became, like a pitch black type or a quiet place. We gotta avoid the spooky monsters. The more that became the focus of the film, I became less and less invested. Because I was getting less and
Yeah,
less.
exactly.
Honestly, a lot of it begins with when Nicolas Cage's character Paul gets knocked unconscious, because now you don't have we get some really good work between Martell and Jenkins, Joseph and Thomas, the boys. I really appreciated that they showed it as a contentious relationship, but they never got over dramatic about it. Like it never became like a one of them tries to kill the other one kind of thing, or anything
Yeah.
like that.
It's a reasonable
Yeah,
sibling
it was
rivalry.
very. I mean, I don't know how shit would go in the post-apocalypse, but it seemed believable. Right, and just yeah, the more the monsters got involved, the less interested I became in what was happening here. But overall, again, like I thought they were well made. I thought it was well executed. Would you say that's probably about where it lost you as well?
Yeah, I was really enjoying the world building, even though I'm not much of a slow burn person. Usually I'd be like, hell yeah, give me the creature. I want to see like some shit go down. In this case, I wasn't really feeling that way. Uh, I liked trying to piece together bit by bit what was happening, while seeing how these people interacted in their relationship. One thing that really stood out to me was Thomas and Charlotte's game that they play where they have, what was it, 20 seconds to explain, or whatever, 10 seconds to explain what
Oh,
happened,
right.
and they both give their perspective, and that I thought was really cute and gave us so much information than we would have been able to get anywhere else, and was like, oh, okay, so that answers what happened. Okay, cool. Like that's good to know that that's how things went down according to them. So I thought that was a really
I
clever
actually wanted to ask you
plot
about that
technique.
scene as well. Do you think what that scene is telling us is that they honestly uh, don't know what happened, or is it just
Yes.
them just making up weird scenarios? Because it definitely gave me the feeling of uh, we all we know is shit went haywire. We have no idea what happened or where these things
Yeah.
came from, which I think I really liked because there are a lot of these apocalypse movies where somehow there is still like this outpost of survivors where they're centralizing information and whatnot. And I like that idea of like, what if it was fucking bad enough that nobody ever figured out what the hell happened? How fucking terrifying would that be?
There's another movie that I don't think you've seen, and it's fairly recent, so I'm not going to say anything more. But I think following a movie that I've watched in some recent years, that does that of saying, "Oh, the internet died, so there's no way that people would have any idea what happened. Now they're just living." I think when I watch apocalypse style movies, which I watch a lot, I really like end of the world shit. I tend to lean towards they probably don't know what even happened just because I like that as like it seems so reasonable for that to be the default. And that if you have more information, it's because you're part of the government or you're part of a big camp that had a lot of information put together. If you're just a couple people living out in a farm, especially these two were babies when this all went down, they definitely weren't there for it. And they're just taking the bit of information that they have from their isolated lifestyles. I think it's more reasonable to assume that they wouldn't know. And I like that a lot. So I think they have some hints of what happened, but they are really only getting information from their very small circle. And I doubt the adults have been completely upfront with them, even if they know. They didn't give them all the details of this, and this is just their reality of how things are
Yeah,
now.
a lot of things about the story and again the world building, like you said, that really drew me in on this, which I think is part of why I was so bummed out when it became. And I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but it did become a kind of routine creature feature, right? Where it's just, kind of trying to avoid the bad guys, finding ways to outsmart them. Somebody ends up getting hurt. Now we gotta try and save each other while one of us is injured. And I just frankly, I almost would have preferred this if this had been a movie where we never saw the creatures, and we just saw their
Hmm.
impact and the way they affect and influence these relationships. Because I really liked that. I
Agreed.
liked that they played the like it was so obvious before they ever revealed it that the kid wanted to keep going to the farm because there was a girl there, right? Like that seemed like the
Hmm.
no-brainer. But they played it frankly with such an innocence, like that I really appreciated. Here's a question I have to ask you though: what the fuck is with that girl's parents when they're like, no, you guys can't stay here, and then they look and they see, oh, our daughter kind of wants to fuck that one. Okay, he can stay. And then all the rest of them gotta
And then they're
go.
like, never
They just
mind.
look him right. They
Now we've
look him right in
confirmed.
the face and be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you can stay because our daughter's got the hots for you, but your injured father and your other half there, you gotta get the fuck out." Jesus.
I mean, it does show the reality
Yeah,
of it, though.
I
They
could
they
definitely
couldn't spare
believe.
anything, and they're like, they thought that was the good person move, but then like getting mad at him right away for for being like, oh, never mind, you do have a crush on our daughter
Yeah,
back. Like,
yeah.
duh,
Um,
should have taken the other
there's
one,
there's
the
one
other brother.
one other specific thing that I wanted to mention that I was like I thought was a little hokey is they show up at the Rose Farm with their injured father and they're like, "Do you have some extra medicine?" And then they're like, "We need some medicine," and she just hands him like a random bottle of pills. And it's just like, I got some medicine. Like, medicine is just this generic thing, which I guess in a lot of ways it is utterly unimportant what the specific medicine is. I found that they just chose to leave that detail out to be a little amusing. I was like, I need some. It's like a video game. I need a med pack. What's in the med pack? I don't know. It's just a med pack.
I was about to say, I've been playing State of Decay 2, which is a zombie survival game with a lot of micromanaging people, which I love. And that is exactly how it is. Generic first aid kit, medicine. They're like, can you just bring us some medicine? Yeah, I can. So I just pack my bag and I have a bag of medicine and I give it to my people and then I get higher influence. Yes, absolutely. Video game logic of doesn't matter. Is it Sudafed?
Yeah, it's a
Wow, our
MacGuffin,
dad
right?
happened to be congested.
It's just the thing that.
Oh, Robitussin, Dad's gonna trip balls. Awesome.
Robitussin MacGuffin? Oh, man. I don't know how much the Tussin is going to do for a concussion or whatever was wrong with him, but.
A Robocussion?
This is the second movie now that I know of where Nicolas Cage dies a fiery death defending his child and or children. And I'm not going to tell you what the other one is just in case you haven't seen it, but the man...
I know which one.
I know you know. I just, I have a reputation in the early episodes for just dropping spoilers about other movies because I'm a jerk. Or I was a jerk. But, no, I thought he was great in this. Just so believable. And what I love about it is he's developed this reputation for just being this crazy man, who just goes to incredible lengths and extremes in his performances. Not a drop of that here. He is perfectly normal, plays it so straight, so well, such a believable and likable portrayal of a father in this situation. I love how there are so many times where you can see on his face he's like he wants to address something they did wrong, but it's like we can't afford to sit and scold the kids right now. We have shit that we need to do to address the threat. I really, really loved his performance in this movie.
Yeah, Nick Cage is a great actor, and this is very similar to one of his roles that, again, people were expecting the extreme version of him, and they got something more subdued and loved it, and that is Pig.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Cage
I
in
love
Pig. This
that
is very
film.
similar to his performance
Yeah,
in that.
Pig is fantastic.
Where it's very subdued and really shows his talent. Yeah, great cast. I wish I had liked this more, because I like Apocalypse. I like this kind of thing. I like Nick Cage a lot. I just couldn't get into it. I think it was a little too slow, but then when I was already getting into the slowness of it and being like, okay, this is just world building, then it switched on me, and I needed them to pick one.
I obviously I can't say for sure. And again, I mean this in the most respectful way. But this feels very much like a movie that was written and directed by folks who really wanted to make that movie about a family in a post-apocalyptic situation. And there is this threat, but the movie is about their lives in that situation, and the threat is very MacGuffin, very tertiary. But maybe, I don't know, maybe they just didn't trust that people would come along with it, and they thought they needed to put that creature. Maybe it was a producer thing somewhere along the line. Here's what I do want to say. I am definitely looking forward to what these folks do in the future. Benjamin Brewer, the director, side note, by the way, worked on visual effects for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I still consider perhaps the greatest film ever made in the history of the world. And then Michael Nyland, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce his name, the writer. He's written some stuff. He also works as a producer on, he was a producer on The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which you mentioned earlier, which is also a delightful Nicolas Cage romp.
Great movie.
Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal, and I was just like, yep, I'm there. And it's every bit as wonderful and
one of my favorite Nick Cage
as you
films.
would think it is.
Nick Cage smooch good.
But yeah, as I would just say, man, give me that story, right? Give me those interactions and just let your movie be about that. Because I'm not typically a person who would say that, and I was really into that part of this.
Benjamin Brewer directed a Chainsmokers music video. And that's all you need to know, that he's got stuff to see. I didn't expect you to actually agree with that. Never mind. It was supposed to be for comedic effect. I like the Chainsmokers, but I know that you probably do not care for them.
Here's what I know about the Chainsmoker is there's a musical act called the Chainsmokers. That's what I know about the Chainsmokers.
Yeah. Everything Everywhere All at Once has a 7.8 on IMDb, by the way, and that's fucking criminal.
That's
That's the best
ridiculous.
movie in the entire goddamn world. And that's all I have to say, because I saw that and I'm irate and I have letters to write. 543,000 reviews. Oh, you guys are getting some
Right.
comments. This is all I'm doing
I've seen
tonight.
it 3 times and it gutted me every single time.
17,001 stars. Are you fucking
People are
kidding
dumb,
me?
Michelle. People are
Okay.
dumb.
Oh, I'm so upset.
So
I'm so upset.
do we have anything else to say about Arcadian, Michelle?
No, I'm furious.
Oh, Michelle's just caught up on this ratings for Everything Everywhere All at Once situation, and frankly, I don't blame her. Again, is still very much, I think, in my mind, the most incredible piece of cinema I've ever seen in my life. I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, there was all this it was just a flavor of the..." No, fuck you. It was not a flavor of the week. That movie is amazing. Anyway, we're talking about The Mist next week, Michelle. I have never seen The Mist. How do you feel about that?
I'm so excited. I am bummed that you haven't seen it, but I am ecstatic that you're going to see it and talk about it on the show. Out of curiosity, how much do you know?
I know
Very
there's
little?
like a town, and then there's like some mist, and then like some stuff happens in the mist. I don't know shit about it. I know.
So you don't even have to see it.
Clearly I
know.
understand the entire every level of nuance of the story. I heard Frank Darabont made this movie, so I'm guessing it's basically just Shawshank Redemption meets The Fog.
Oh, that is an interesting guess.
Interesting how? Like, interestingly
wrong.
accurate or interestingly stupid?
Interestingly, very inaccurate.
Okay. I was really I'm like, if that's what it turns out to be, I maybe want to rewrite the schedule.
No, that's definitely not.
Also, we're gonna be.
We'll talk about The Mist.
Yeah,
next
we're
week.
gonna be
I have so many
live
thoughts on
at Time Bomb Pro Wrestling again coming up, Michelle.
Oh yeah.
Pretty stoked on that.
Yeah, we got that coming up.
We're gonna try and talk to some people. I don't know. We want to do something from the Time Bomb show. It's been like 6 months since there was a Time Bomb show in Fargo. They needed to take a little break for a while so they could come back good and strong. It's a fucking steel cage warfare match, 4-on-4 inside the cage, people whooping the shit out of each other, bleeding all over a damn place. It's going to be a good time. Jordan, the world champion Jordan, is taking on Heavy Metal Lore, and Jordan was shit-talking death metal on Twitter yesterday, and now I got to watch Heavy Metal Lore kick his ass.
I am a huge Jordan fan.
I love
so
Jordan.
I'll be rooting for him. Can he kick
Jordan,
it? Yes, he can.
Jordan is a legitimate case of the first time I saw that guy, I was like, what is there to like about this dude? And just completely won me over through hard work and being just unabashedly himself. If you guys are not familiar with the pro wrestler from Minnesota called Jordan, he's currently the Time Bomb Pro champion. He defeated the bounty hunter Brian Keith, now on AEW, involved with Chris Jericho in that promotion. Jordan's fantastic. Look him up. Watch some of his shit if you can find it. Anyway, that's enough babble. We've got to get out of here because we still got 2 episodes to record tonight coming out in the future. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.
For more horror content, visit WeWatchShutter.com, where you'll find our world-famous, patent-pending Ghoul blog and Squelch files, as well as a schedule of upcoming episodes. Find us on social media at We Watch Shudder on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I guess Twitter if you're still doing that for whatever reason. You can email us. mail@wewatchshudder.com is the address. mail@wewatchshudder.com. You can even call and leave us a voicemail, 701-566-9510. No, really. 701-566-9510. Give it a shot. See what happens. We Watch Shudder is a production of Rat Factory Media.